What's going on, brother?
Well, I just wanted to come on here and tell everybody to not be afraid to come up here, man. This is so dope what you're doing right now. This is lit, bro.
What that man? Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it, man. I,
This
I
is
really, I really appreciate it. Are you? Hold on, whoa. So, are you saying that? Are you staying to watch it with me, or
Oh
you
yeah.
about to roll out?
If you don't mind me, I definitely would love to stay here and watch this with you, man.
Oh yeah, then let's do it. Let's do
Yeah.
it. So as y'all see, we got the man, the guy, Lou Valentino, on here with me. I appreciate you, brother. So let's get some real talk out of this. So I'm about to get it. I'm about to get it popping. Let me know if you can hear, you can't hear it, and we'll make sure we fix everything. Much love to everyone, and I apologize if I don't get to your super chats while we're in the middle of this, but I will try my best to get back to them. Okay. All right. Let's go.
I love it. So Vivek is the only person running, I think, who hasn't practiced politics for a living. Correct?
Yeah, I'm not a practitioner.
No, you're not. You're not a practitioner. So it's interesting. So let me just start with a very quick overview. You've been traveling around the country for the past, 3 months, 4 months?
Yeah, 4 months.
How do you think the country's doing?
I think the country is doing poorly, is the answer. I think that we have a void in our country. I'm the first millennial ever to run for US president as a Republican. And I see people my age in particular across this country who are not doing well because we're starved for purpose and meaning. The people are looking to be part of something bigger than ourselves, and yet we've lost the things that used to ground us. Faith, patriotism, hard work, family. These things are gone, and so we're lost in the wilderness, and then we latch on to whatever the other side serves up for us.
Bruh, he is on fire already, man. That's what I love about this young dude, for real. Okay, I'm gonna keep it popping. I'm not gonna keep on stopping it, guys. I'm gonna let it ride, but I just wanted to point that out. I love the fact that he stands on all 10 and he make people, he just let it be known that he's not about the BS and he's not gonna be bought. He's gonna cause some problems before even being considered as that guy, in my opinion, bro.
And real quick before we go back into it, he is 37 years old. So he's a youngin who has been doing some big things in America, despite of what the Breakfast Club wants to say about him. So yeah, man, I'm impressed by this dude, man. So
of course, didn't he create some medicines that saved people's lives?
Yeah, he's written books. He's done a bunch of things, man. This guy is worth $500,000. He's self-funded. I mean, you'll see in this interview how he breaks all that stuff down. But I think that non-politicians speak more to the American people than politicians do, in my opinion.
Absolutely. 1000%, because Joe Biden is a lifelong politician, but we all see how that's going. So
yeah, we could wokeism, transgenderism, climatism, whatever it is. These are symptoms, drug addiction, depression, suicide, you name it. These are symptoms of a deeper void of purpose and meaning in our country. But Tucker, I think the good news in that is I think our country's not doing well, but I think that this is also our opportunity as a movement to level up and fill that void, that vacuum, with our own vision. Individual, family, nation, God. When I talk to young people about this, they're more interested in that than they are in race, gender, sexuality, and climate. And so now we got to start running to something as Americans, and if we do, I'm confident that our country will be doing well again. That's where I'm at.
Is it my imagination, or are people who weren't raised in traditional religious households, who haven't spent a lot of time thinking about theology, all of a sudden talking about God a lot? Do you notice that?
I do notice that, actually, and I think this is a good sign because there's an old expression, right? If there's a hole the size of God in your heart and God does not fill it, something else will instead.
My gracious, those are bars.
He's not playing around.
If there's a small hole in your heart and only God can fill it, and you don't allow it, something else will fill it. It's going to be fame. It's going to be drug. Anything can fill it. Attention. It's going to be people patting our wounds when we say, you know what? I don't feel like I don't feel like I'm a man today, Lou. I don't feel like I'm a man today, bro.
I think, look, I'll propose this question to the chat. Do you guys think that Vivek is surpassing, or maybe in your opinion, surpassed Ron DeSantis?
Hold on, let me.
I think we should do a poll on that.
I'm about
Obviously,
to create one right now.
as we continue to watch the video and stuff like that, has he surpassed a guy like Ron DeSantis? Right? Because a guy like Ron DeSantis, kind of sabotaged himself trying to go against Trump. And he hasn't paid respect to Trump. He hasn't paid respect to what Trump did for him when he was down in the polls. And you got a guy like Vivek that is running against Trump, but shows respect, shows gratitude toward what Trump has done. And I don't know. I think that a guy like Vivek really, really is playing chess here. And I think that he is surpassing Ron DeSantis. That's my opinion, guys. That's my opinion.
That's just his opinion, but that's a great question. So if y'all can let me know in the comments, guys, in your opinion, from what you've heard or what you've seen so far, has Vivek surpassed Ron DeSantis as your person to vote for when it comes to election time? I mean, and stand by your pick too. Don't be all bubblegum with it. Stand by it, because I'm gonna call you out. I'm gonna remember your name and be like, see, I remember you said that. Now look at you. Now look at you.
That's what's happened in the last decade in our country. Something else, some secular religion has filled that void. But it hasn't really satisfied our moral hunger, right? And so that effect is fading, and I think people are hungry to turn back to the real thing. The conversation's coming up, but they say it with a kind of prudishness.
Yes.
Right? God is a four-letter word. It's sort of a thing you have to tiptoe around. And I think that right now, family's the same way. The nuclear family makes some people uncomfortable when I say it, but actually this is the best known form of governance to mankind. And so if we start talking more about, hey, that's what we're running to. That's actually what we stand for. Yes, we are one nation. I'm a citizen of this nation, not some nebulous global citizen somewhere else. That it is one nation under God. Yes, it is a nation that is stronger when we ground ourselves in the unit of the family. Then I notice something happens, especially for younger people across the country, Tucker, is they're more open to that message than they thought, but they need someone to serve it up to them. Woo. And I think I'm the first non-politician, but I'm also a younger person in this race. I don't have a ton of experience running governments before. But I think in reaching younger people, that's something I feel called to do in this race, and it's why we're traveling college campuses across this country. And I am optimistic about what I see.
Well, since you are a younger person and spend time with them, we saw yesterday that a group of reservists has been called up to Europe, apparently, to prepare for war with Russia. Of people in the age cohort who might plausibly be called up to do that, what's the response?
I think there is no basis for us to send our young men and women, our sons and daughters, people my age or any age, to go defend somebody else's border halfway around the world when we should be using our own military to secure our own border in this country.
My God, man. Yo, he's not lying. He's not lying. We need our people here to defend here. Rather going out there selling our people and selling our time, we don't even have the money for it, bro.
And I will not apologize for that. We have to put the interests of this country first. And one of the things that does frustrate me, Tucker, is that this is one issue where I so love many of the other people who are running for this nomination for president. I think most of us, and the entire field I speak for, are in this for the right reasons. We are people who care about our country and want to deliver our country to a better place. But on this issue, nearly our entire field is indistinguishable in practice from where Biden is on this, which is in an undefined, ill-defined way pouring more money into a war that I think is destined to become Vietnam or Iraq all over again. Wow. And if you don't learn from the lessons of the past, you're going to be making the same mistakes on an even larger scale going forward. Preach. We have to end this war. We can end this war and start prioritizing the interests of actual U.S. citizens here at home.
So I think Judging by the response you just got, I think a chunk of, I don't know what percentage, but a lot of Republican primary voters agree with you. Not all, but a lot. I don't think any Republican donors agree with you.
I think that's accurate. And I've lost, to be really honest with you,
What? Why is that? Why is that, Lou?
Well, that's because as far as Republican donors, and once again, we go back to a guy like Ron DeSantis, who, you know, has a bunch of meetings about donations and different things. And when you say something like this, right, when you literally get on stage, or if you're a presidential candidate, no matter what side you're on, if you say that you are against the war in Ukraine or anything of anything in that stratosphere of like, hey, I don't want any parts of this, let's put America first, you're gonna lose donors. And that's what happened. That's why self-funding is so important, and things like that. So yeah, I think that he has definitely, you know, he's speaking against the military industrial complex. He's speaking against Washington, really. So
But I believe that if you say let's put America first, that should lift anybody's support. What's negative about that?
that's the America that we live in, bro. I mean, people argue me down all the time, literally, about why Republicans are wrong about the war in Ukraine and how we need to keep funding Ukraine, how we need to win that war. I'm just like, bro, I don't think that people realize how many people are actually dying out there like that. And over there, people don't really realize that that's what's going on. And people
They're so disconnected, is disrespectful.
Mostly everybody that's pro-Ukraine doesn't really understand. I just tell people, yo, this is what I'll do. I'll donate. I'll give you money to go get a flight, go to the Ukraine. I'll send you $1,000, $2,000. Go fight. How about you go? How about you go volunteer? Go ahead. Go. Get out of here.
Ain't nobody doing that. We too spoiled here.
Oh, they swear
Spoiled,
that
entitled.
we have to win the war. We can't let the so go. How about go pack your bags right now? Pack your bags. I'm sending you on a first class ticket. Get your ass over there and go fight.
Nah, you know how the American people feel. They feel like, no, this is what we pay you for. This is what we pay you for. Go do your job. And then they don't double check and see how they've been screwed. Listen, I'm giving my own testimony right here, bro. I will let them do their job and I won't check up on them. And they're doing their own damn thing the entire time. But this dude is, I want to see, okay, let me hear from him why people won't support him monetarily, man, because this is crazy, man. Not by Republicans, not by other conservatives. I don't get that.
Lost many large donors or prospective donors over this issue. And it puzzles me because I think the tempting thing to say is to have some conspiratorial explanation that they have money at stake in government contractors, Raytheon or whatever. I don't think that's true, actually. I think there's something else going on in the psychology of an establishment in both the Republican Party and the Democrat Party that is reluctant to the idea that we somehow can't be the ones fighting the war that's the popular war of the day, the politically correct war. I think there's no such thing as a politically correct war. And so what I ask is, how are we actually going to end this conflict in a way that advances U.S. interests? And the thing that puzzles me, Tucker, is nobody in either party is talking about this right now. The Russia-China alliance is the single greatest threat that the U.S. actually faces today. And we are pushing Russia closer into China's arms by actually continuing to arm Ukraine. So what I've said is that I would negotiate a deal that ends the Ukraine war, frees the current lines of control. Yes, that means giving part of the Donbas region to Russia. I would make a hard commitment that NATO never admits Ukraine to NATO. And those seem like unspeakable words in certainly the Republican donor class. But we get something greater in return, which is that Putin, in that case, would have to exit his military partnership with China and remove nuclear weapons from Kaliningrad, which border Poland, and get the Russian military out of Cuba and Venezuela and the West.
You know what I love about him that other people have not been pointing out? I love the fact that he's not only about his business, but he's coming into the door with a better understanding of international relationships than Joe Biden has, bruh. And Joe Biden was the vice president. He don't even understand the international relationship. This dude is breaking down every piece of it now. Not that Joe will be able to stand in front of a microphone and present his point because he can't talk for more than 4 minutes without stumbling over every damn thing. But that I'll chalk that up to old age, and getting old is the goal. So what I mean, sometimes when we clip a certain age, we start losing some parts. But if you're like that mentally, you should not be commander-in-chief. That's just my opinion.
I agree with that. He's incompetent right now. He can't. I mean, I'll be extremely surprised if they actually throw him back up there, because I don't think that he'll do well. They're not going to have primary debates on their side, at least from what I keep hearing.
They're not.
But eventually, if he is the nominee, which I think he will probably be, I'm like 85% sure, he won't do well against Trump, right? He won't do well. Let's just say it was him. Let's just say, for instance, if it was him against Vivek, or even Ron DeSantis for that matter, he won't do well against any of these guys. They're gonna throw a guy like Gavin Newsom up there because he could. Vivek and Ron and Trump, they would cook anybody on that side at this point.
That's true. I'm thinking that probably the California governor, they probably put him up there, or RFK Jr. I think he's been making some.
Nah, they won't throw him up there.
You don't think so?
Nah. I love him, but the Democrats will do anything they will do anything. I think RFK has more of a shot of being Trump's vice president.
Because he's too middle of the road. He's not beholden to any of the BS interests that the left is beholden to. So he's not going to give into the BS. They want somebody that they can buy and control and manipulate. And you're right about that. You know what? I stand corrected.
And this is a deal that Putin should do because he ends up winning. He gets things that he doesn't have today. But it secures American interests too. And I do think in a weird way, it does take an outsider to get that job done. Because if you want someone to fix a problem, you don't turn over the keys to somebody who actually broke the thing in the first place. If you want to fix it, maybe have somebody who didn't break it in the first place. And that's part of why I'm in this race as an outsider.
Okay, well, since you're getting radical now, let's go through a list of all the other things you're not allowed to say. So you've just said, you're not attacking anybody, but this doesn't seem to be helping us. In fact, it seems to be creating an alliance that we can't beat, and really, it's pretty scary. So let's just go through the list. Another thing, insurrection.
Okay, Tucker. Tucker, bruh, do me one favor, please. I'm live. Try not to say anything that would get me clipped up, brother, please. You know how this goes.
We're gonna be good. I think we're gonna be good. I think we're gonna be good.
How many mic drops is he gonna have, man? God.
By the way, there's no other Republican nominees other than Trump that would actually answer that question.
No, they wouldn't. They would tiptoe around it.
They're not gonna answer that because they know once you say that you're clipped. It's over. Like they're gonna use that against you at all times. Like, look, this guy believes that it wasn't an insurrection or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he had a lot of balls. He had a lot of balls saying that right there. Given that answer, this answer right here, sheesh.
He's on fire, bro. That's all I'm gonna say. Dude, this young dude is on fire. FYE.
How can you, just as a philosophical question, a lot of the people who are pushing censorship, in fact, I would say almost all of them in both parties, particularly the Democratic Party, claim they're doing so in order to protect democracy. But how can you have a democracy with censorship?
So you want to know the best measure of the health of a democracy? We're a constitutional republic, but I'll use lowercase d democracy as a fill-in, right? Couldn't resist.
I do think that he misses like the biggest. Censorship, you could say censorship caused it. You could say all these things caused it, which they could have played a role in it. But you can't, like, how many FBI undercover agents were there? Like about 53, right? We had the FBI whistleblower speaking about that as well. So that's something that I think, once again, like you have to be aware and you have to say that because it's proven. It's a proven fact, right? You won't get a strike for saying that because it's proven fact under oath, under congressional hearings that there were FBI agents there, right? That antagonized and, were climbing the walls, pushing people and stuff like that. So I think that you have to say that. And I think that he did not say that. I think he might have dropped the ball on that a little bit. I do believe that he gave the best answer on that as far as anybody, because I believe that a lot of other people would have danced around it. But I think he messed up like that as well. Like I think censorship had a lot to do with it, but you have to throw in the FBI agents that were there as well. So,
well, I mean, maybe he don't fully buy into that. Maybe he doesn't.
I mean, but he don't have to. It's already proven.
I know it's proven, but maybe
under oath already. It's under oath. Like it's under oath already.
I get you on that, but maybe he has a different way of thinking about it, or maybe he doesn't. Maybe this is just one of the topics that he's not that great on.
Hold on. Somebody said, "No way, I'm voting for an Indian guy."
Yo, didn't we just now talk about that last night?
Somebody really said, "No way, I'm voting for an Indian guy."
Who said that?
That's
who said that?
Who said that? I'm gonna point him out right now.
Yeah, point him out so I can put the
a guy by the name of Ian said that.
Hold on 1 second. Was that one of the last joints that came up?
Nah, you got to scroll up just a little bit. Just scroll up just a little bit. You'll be able to find him. His name is Ian.
Okay. All right.
That's a ridiculous statement. But a lot of people feel that way, right? Because I think we spoke about this yesterday. We can talk about it later. We can talk about it now. It's
okay. No. We'll talk about it later. But I just think that the bigger his light shine, what's going to happen is people are going to come out the woodworks and they're going to let you know how nasty they are. They're going to start to be just nasty. It just is what it is. Some people are just nasty. Some people are stuck in the past. Some people can't move forward. Some people need all of their boxes to be checked when it comes to who they're going to vote for. And you know what? Guess what? I ain't got no issue with people checking their own boxes. Just don't force anybody else to check the boxes that you want them to check. That's why we have our liberties. We have our freedoms. If somebody say that I don't want to vote for that dude because he's an Indian, you know what? You might not want to say it out loud, but do what you want to do. That's your business. I mean, I would say it's ignorant to just park off of something like that. But at the end of the day, everyone has the right to move how they move and groove how they groove.
And look, I think that's like equivalent to somebody voting for someone just because they're black, right? It's the same thing.
Same thing.
Hey, I'm only voting for these people because they're black and I'm pro-black. And like that's also the same equivalence. Like they're both cringe, right? I won't vote for this guy because he's black. I'm gonna vote for this guy because he's black. I won't vote for this guy because he's Indian. I'm gonna vote for this guy because he's white. Like that's cringe on both ends. If you're an American citizen, and first of all, that's the only way you can actually run for president. If you are a U.S. citizen born here, naturally born in the United States of America. So anyone running for president, you don't even need to question whether they're a U.S. citizen or not, because it's mandatory. So I don't know. I just thought that was very
No, I think that what you're saying is absolutely the truth. But you know what I mean? People, you're going to see that conversation come up again. The natural citizen, natural born citizen. That conversation is going to say.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I was wrong, bro. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe because I was pushing back and I said that a lot of our fan base or audience and supporters don't care about that.
Most of them don't. Most of them don't.
Maybe there's just like a small percentage, like 2%, maybe.
Yeah, or there's probably smaller than that, but there's some of them that think it.
People always applaud at that. I love that.
It's just the truth, though, right?
No, it is true.
Republic.
But the civics majors love it.
The civics majors love it.
The best measure of the health of our American democracy, our constitutional republic, is the percentage of people who feel free to say what they actually think in public. That's the metric. It's not the number of ballots cast every November. That's just going through the motions. It is not some other metric of what the media says on a given day. It is the percentage of people who will say in public what they're willing to say behind closed doors. There's no doubt we're doing poorly. The culture is censorious enough. Now, if you say the government on top of that is using social media companies to do through the back door what government could not censor through the front door under the Constitution, that creates the real threat to lowercase d democracy. My litmus test is if Vladimir Putin was doing it and we would call it a threat to democracy, it's a threat to democracy when we do it on this side of the Atlantic as well. Okay, that's a good way of not.
Hey, he sound like Trump with that one. He sound like Trump with that one, bruh. Because what he's doing is he's calling us out on our BS.
Yeah.
That's what he's just letting us know, yo, we do the same stuff. So at the end of the day, man, we need to check ourselves. Yo, this dude is nice.
Not pointing the finger at somebody else, but looking ourselves in the mirror and asking ourselves who we really are. And this is personal for me. I'm a Republican candidate for U.S. president. It feels still new to say that. Not a politician by nature, but I bring that fact up, now as of very recently, certainly polling reasonably well in the recent polls. And I bring that up because against that backdrop, Microsoft owned LinkedIn, censored my social media account. They locked my account, said I can't get in to make statements that are factually grounded statements about climate change, about Biden's relationship with China, about the ESG movement's perpetuation of a climate cult in this country, all grounded in fact, saying that it violates their policy. And I'm not making this one up. They said violence in the email.
Violence. Come on, man. They would do anything just not to have their stuff put out there on Front Street.
That's what liberals do, man. A lot of the hardcore liberals do that. They just like when you hear words like, and I mean all over mainstream media, where it's like, this is a threat to democracy. This is dangerous for our democracy, right?
Yeah.
Like, all they say. And people actually go and then believe it. And then you have companies doing stuff like this because of all, of how much people come out and constantly try to make it seem like Republicans are really dangerous for America.
Yep.
I mean,
just like the new thing. What's the new thing? Sounds of Freedom is dangerous. Putting that type of stuff out there is dangerous. What's dangerous? Telling us the truth so now we can arm ourselves and secure our families, make sure we good. We're paying more attention now. That's dangerous. I don't get it, man. Maybe it's just me. I don't get it. But you're right, bro. Damn, you're right. They will paint everything as dangerous. That's on the right.
Look, and there's a video out there. I think I played it before. I gotta find it again, but there's a video of like all the media, all mainstream media. It was like NBC, CNN, all these people, right? At the same time, there was like somebody put it all together at the same time saying, this is a threat to democracy. This is a threat to democracy. They're all saying it at the same time. So you want to talk about programming. You're programming people to really be in an echo chamber, to develop a hatred in their heart for either Trump or anyone that they're going up against. That's the machine, right? You don't have to JFK somebody no more. That's done. They don't do that anymore. Unless you're like Trump, where Trump is so powerful that he's going against the media machine. Yeah. But that's what it is. He's the only one that's actually winning from the media machine. But mostly everybody else, they character assassinate you. You're done. Yeah. You can't get a job again. You can't work in Hollywood. You can't work in the industry. And that's exactly what happened with either Sound of Freedom, and that's what's going on with a lot of these candidates. They're getting cooked by the media. The media is getting at them. It's because, if you look at who owns all of the media, that's yeah. He said it's a shame if they're controlling it from the back door, and now he's addressing that, but he's showing them that like actual examples of how they shut him down. So he's saying they are controlling it from the back door. They calling everything dangerous and saying that that's ridiculous, man. I want to smack media in the mouth.
And so in my case, look, I was able to publicize that. They were then claimed it was an error, restored the account, typical operating procedure. But it's that culture of censorship in our country that I think we also, I'm trying to do my part, where I was in Ottumwa, Eastern Iowa, earlier this week. Smaller event than this, but we're on the stage talking. Somebody walks in. She's screaming at the top of her lungs. At first, I thought usually if they're screaming, sometimes they're in favor of what you're saying. So I said, thank you. But I realized that actually, no, she...
When she bit you?
She came... So she was out of control, okay?
Yeah. I know her. I ran into her at Dulles Airport last week. Yeah.
We've all seen a version of her, but the truth is, so security was escorting her out, and it felt wrong to me, right? Because she came here to make a point, she was totally wild in the way she was making it, but I'm watching her walk out the door. She's at the back of the room now, and I said, this doesn't feel right. Right, because as I said earlier, you tell people they can't speak, that's when they scream. You tell people they can't scream, and she was screaming. That's when they're going to go tear something down. So I said, no, bring her back. We gave her the mic. I said, I promise, you ask your question, but I promise I get to answer it in return. She agrees to that. It turns out she's a pro-choice advocate, a my body, my choice person. I was going to the state legislature on Tuesday morning. I think she must have known that, came to this event to protest my being there. But I give her the mic. She's just talking for, 3, 4, 5 minutes. But by the end of it, it actually turns out, the story comes out that she's a single mother who did bring her daughter into the world. And the things she was saying were things like, my daughter is successful. I don't want you to look down on me. And I thought it was beautiful that the more she started talking, the more she started making our very point of why we believe in protecting life. And so I said, disagreements aside, you are a mother. We celebrate that. The audience applauded. It's why I love Iowans.
Wow.
She broke down in tears and left. And so I'm moved by what is possible in our country. Our country is broken. We are spiritually broken.
Yep.
We have a spiritual void in this country.
Yep.
It is our job to step up and fill that void.
Yep.
By practicing what we preach as conservatives. And
I love that.
Hey, I think that that's something that, and I don't know, I wouldn't say that Trump doesn't have it, but being able to get yelled at by a pro-lifer, right? And have the calmness to then bring that person back. I saw the video, and just be able to talk, listen, you know what I'm saying? And come to a conclusion. Like, just make a deal with that person. Like, hey, just stop yelling. Let's calm down here.
Yeah.
I think that takes crazy patience and crazy maneuvering. I don't know. I love that, bro. That's really good.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. But who's the most emotional and less sensible side right now? If you just want to look at the sides, the left is straight emotions. It's straight to the emotions. They lead with their hearts. Everything else is out. It's like, and that right there is one thing that made me start to consider what the conservatives had to say. At first, I was just like, man, y'all just, everything's emotional. But what about this? And you partying up, you living it up, but you want to show that you're a sensible, emotional individual, man. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yo, somebody said Vivek 2024 and 2028.
God damn. Hold on one second. Who said that?
That was Bharat Yadav.
Bharat Yadav. Okay. All right.
I don't know if I'll go that far.
All right. I don't see him whooping Trump, to be honest with you, but that's just me.
Look, I'll say this. I'll say this. Trump is smart. Trump plays chess, as his supporters would say, but this guy is by far the smartest candidate.
He's smart as hell, bro. Yeah.
And the way he can articulate a conversation. Very good. He's just not as aggressive as Trump. He's not as willing to, you know what I'm saying, cook somebody when it's time to cook somebody. And I think that he will get cooked. I think he will get cooked.
It's let's see what I want to see him going head to head with somebody who's
but that's what I'm saying. Like,
intelligent.
That's too far into the future, bro. Let him go against Ron DeSantis. That's the real test.
He's whooping Ron DeSantis' tail right now.
I think so too.
Hey, we're going to schedule a debate live for Ron DeSantis.
We're going to schedule an AI
debate. Hey, that'll be vicious though, man. We'll change the world with that joint.
Oh man, that would get us banned for sure.
It would get us banned.
So I'm hoping we're doing that. I love doing that in Iowa. It's been something that's really lifted me up in a way that was never an experience I had as a CEO or in business. I've never had these experiences as we've had in the last few months. And honestly, as broken as our country is, it leaves me optimistic about where we're headed.
And you can listen to people. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not going to hurt you.
So what? Okay, so it's so interesting. So you, and I think the intro of you described some of it, but you're coming from a completely different world. It's not like you were mayor, state legislator. You're coming from business and technology and biotech. So what have you learned? Like, how have your views changed since you immersed yourself in crowds of voters and started listening to people?
Yeah, so I think views have changed in part by my belief that we're not as divided as they make it out to be. Right? Because many CEOs in this country are frightened, right? Of speaking their mind openly. It actually stops, many of them will say, well, stops them from being donors to me, to maybe other causes. They're deathly scared because they believe that we're a nation at our breaking point. And in some ways, we are, because we let it get there. But one of the things I've been convinced of, I've changed my mind on, is that I don't think we're nearly as divided as we're taught to believe.
I don't think so either. It's something like a lot of times I still go over to where I'm from, the other sides that my wife don't really like to frequent too much. I'm just gonna put it out there, not saying she a sucker or nothing, but she just don't like to go over there too much. But I find that we don't disagree nearly as much as we make it out to be on social media. Like the conservative sides versus the liberal sides. When people find out that I have more of a conservative way of thinking of things now, I'm finding that I would think I'm about to get attacked for having these thoughts. But now it's like, yeah, you see what I'm saying? So this didn't, we agree a lot more than we disagree, but the media.
But I went to the south side of Chicago. It's one of the places it's not really where the political advisors would tell you to go if you're in a Republican primary. I went to Kensington and downtown in the inner city of Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia. And I'll tell you, the people in those rooms, especially in the south side of Chicago, where they're converting South Shore High School into an encampment for migrants who they're spending $7,000 per person per month on. This is the supposedly far left, nearly entirely black, Democratic voting bloc. And I have never heard more eloquent cases for securing the border and actually prioritizing the interests of Americans than I heard in that room.
What did they say?
They said, what about us?
Yeah.
Was actually the right way to say that. And it came out in many ways where, look, we are Christians.
I'm sorry I have to say this. And this is not about the video. I apologize. Wanted to point out the fact that we got Decoy Voice pulling up to show love, man. Much love to you, bro. If y'all have not heard about Decoy Voice, the guy is a phenomenal content creator. Go check him out and see for yourself. You'll see if you don't already know.
Hey, give him the link. Tell him to come through. Give him the link.
Hey, and I'm gonna give you I'm gonna put the link inside of the I'm inviting a guest so you can join us if you want. Decoy Voice.
If you have some time, bro, pull up, man. This is an interesting conversation. Would love to hear your thoughts on that, man.
Yeah, absolutely, big dog. So you know what I mean? If you want to pull up, the link is inside of the comments. And yeah, let's get back to it. But yeah, much love to Decoy Voice.
We believe in treating these people humanely, but it's not right that they're spending $7,000 a month and getting baby formula when I couldn't find baby formula a year ago. I can't buy sneakers for my kids. They're providing sneakers for those kids. How does that work? How is that advancing my interest? And actually, you just reminded me of this. Many of them were asking me, as though I was on the side of it, of why on earth we're sending billions of dollars to Ukraine. So it was interesting to me that the traditional partisan boundaries as drawn are really sort of retrofitted. We're sort of shoehorning an old structure. We're sort of shoehorning the modern truth into sort of an antiquated view where I don't think the dividing line in our country is between Republicans and Democrats right now. I think it is between those of us who are pro-American, who believe in the ideals of this country, who will not apologize for those ideals, who will stand up and sacrifice for those ideals, and those of us who are, and it exists in this country, I mean, the Vice President's a great embodiment of this, anti-American.
He not lying though. Yeah, he not lying though. I know some people who are not patriots. They don't like America, but they don't want to go anywhere else. They'll take a flight to anywhere to just take some selfies on those islands in these different countries, just to show that they part of the passport bros or whatever, or passport sisters or whatever they doing. But they don't want to live anywhere but America, bro. But they claim they don't love America. Don't love nothing about this country. They some this and they some that. And I ain't going to say the word, but he's absolutely right, man. The anti-Americans versus actual Americans who don't apologize for a damn thing. They're saying, and they used to tell me that too. Van, stop apologizing, bro. Stop apologizing, brother. I'm I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to apologize anymore, because if you're right, what are you apologizing for? Somebody's feelings being hurt? So, yeah.
I agree. I think that if you want to leave the country, I have a special place for you to go. That is the Ukraine. But I'm gonna fight.
Go fight for the country.
Go fight for the Ukraine, bro. Yo, guys, if you guys don't like this country, I have a special place for you to go volunteer. There's a list. You got to go to Europe first. And then from Europe, they got a bus for you. First class ticket, first bus ticket. They're going to give you a gun. They're going to train you for a couple months. And then go fight for the country that you love, Ukraine.
Hey, if you love Ukraine, go fight for Ukraine. Daggone it. There you have it.
Those who wish to apologize for a nation founded on our ideals. But if you divide it up that way, it is not 50-50 anymore. It's not even close. It's easily 80-20 in our favor, and half the 20 are people younger than me who never learned what those ideals were in the first place. We're going to bring them along too. And I think we have an opportunity to do in this country in 2024 what Ronald Reagan did in 1980. Deliver a landslide election, call the bluff on the division. Much of it is artificial. I fell for it, right? Even when I started this campaign, I'm running for the Republican candidate for U.S. president, I don't even talk about Republicans that much anymore. I try not to use the word. Not because it's a bad word, but because it doesn't mean anything. Right? If half the Republican, 3/4 of the Republican Party's got the same policy as Biden on the most important policy matter of our time, and if much of the Democratic Party, or at least people on the south side of Chicago, believe in using the military on the southern border and putting the interests of Americans first, I'm not sure those labels are doing much for us now.
Yeah.
And one of the things, I actually just got this stat yesterday from my campaign, 40% of the donors to our campaign are first-time ever donors to the Republican Party in any form ever. And the normal number is 2%. So I think this should actually give us hope for possibility. If we're willing to take the shackles off a little bit, relax a little bit on identity can be confining. Right? The left does this masterfully. You're black, therefore you can't achieve something.
Oh my gracious, bruh. Victimhood Olympics. You're black. Come on, free. What about 1619? Huh? Remember that? Don't forget. Don't ever forget. Yes, you can get a degree. Yes, you can make a lot of money. Yes, you can live in nice neighborhoods and not be bothered by crime. Yes, you can actually achieve things that your family never achieved. Be first-time generation millionaires. Do all of that. But guess what? You're black. You're going to be pulled over and shot by a police one day. You'll never get behind the same doors that the white man get behind because they got privilege. You're black. Can I remind you that you're black, please? The hell out of here, man. Sorry, guys. Sometimes I get a little talkative when I hear of something that it just hits me. Y'all ever seen on the videos, sometimes I use it, this may trigger you. Well, a lot of this bull sugar honey iced tea triggers me because of the common sense or lack thereof that people are showing on these videos.
Oh, we got a special guest.
What's going on, guys?
OMG, bruh.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Hey,
We
good to
got
be on
decoy voice, man. Decoy voice, man. What's going on, brother?
Hey, thanks for having me on right now. I just wanted to drop by, show some love for you guys over here. I mean, I'm actually doing a video on this same exact thing right now, so I gotta hop off pretty quick. But this is crazy how it's just starting to see somebody like Vivek Ramaswamy, who's kind of like an outsider that's almost kind of seen like a Donald Trump, where he's actually done something with his life. He's not a professional mooch, as I like to call it, with all these like career-long politicians like your Joe Bidens and your Bernie Sanders and your Mitch McConnells, of just people that have done nothing but just take our tax dollars and shuffle it around, but also putting some of it in their pockets. Seeing someone like Vivek Ramaswamy, he's like, me, Van, Lou have probably nothing in common with Vivek, but because he's somebody that has done something with his life and actually has just worked as an average everyday American person, his message really resonates with us, which is, important.
Absolutely.
I got a question, bro, before you leave. Do you think that because there's like a disconnect between Ron DeSantis, obviously, and the Republican voters and stuff like that, do you think that a guy like Vivek can actually pass him and maybe when they head into the primaries and debate, do you think that he will pass him in the polls?
Oh yeah, Vivek is going to pass DeSantis in the polls. I don't think that he ever poses a serious threat to Trump, but I mean, it just really goes to show how much DeSantis just doesn't quite understand what he needs to do to try to capture that I would say that MAGA voting base. He's trying to get that more moderate conservative, like traditional Republican, but as you know, it's just, I think that the GOP needs to understand that in order to win this election, it's more important to get the very like America First MAGA voters as opposed to that wishy-washy, middle-of-the-road conservative voter that just likely won't turn out as much as the MAGA crowd will. But I mean, no, I think that DeSantis doesn't, everything he's doing kind of mirrors what I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember. Remember John McCain when he ran
yeah.
against
When he ran against
Barack
Obama.
remember, McCain was a big, like, go on the Daily Show, joke around about, like, a Beach Boys song, and, like, you know, remember that, when he said, ba, 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 baram,
Yeah.
ba, baran, or whatever? Like, he was kind of like a regular social media joking guy hopping on the Daily Show, but as he ran for president, he became a very traditional George Bush, Mitch McConnell-esque
Right.
Political candidate, and I
Right.
really feel like that's what Ron DeSantis is doing right now, too.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. But I think he's allowing his people to guide him into being that perfect looking politician where he's not really coming with any heart or coming with anything else other than I've done it already. I'm doing it right now. I have the most beautiful political looking family. Like it looked like an American family. It's like, you know what I mean? His wife is I believe in lawyer or something like that. And they run their own businesses. It's like the perfect look. So he's lacking that fire that comes from Vivek, or that truth that I will answer any question and I won't dance around it. Oh,
But
my bad.
he's afraid of being wrong right now. He's kind of like the
Yeah.
Ken doll of politicians, where it's
Yeah.
people like Trump not because he necessarily was the ideal candidate. He had a lot of dirt behind him. He says a lot of the wrong things, but they kind of saw almost themselves in the politician that was Donald Trump. It was just like, hey, there's a guy, he's brash. If any of our group chats got leaked online, we'd be canceled. So they kind of saw themselves as a Donald Trump, like, hey, he's unapologetically him. They don't necessarily like all the stuff he's saying, but at least they feel that he's real. There's no like lacquer over who he is, and you just almost like don't trust what he's saying or what he's doing. It's just DeSantis is trying to go down the path of a Mitch McConnell when he really needs to go down the path of a Donald Trump at this point in time, which you're never going to get these very liberal voters. They need to understand that, so stop catering to them.
Yeah, I think he's trying to cater. He's trying to basically grab everybody. Yo, Cartier family. Hey, you should drop the link for them too, man. Have a party here. Now, but real quick, do you think that Trump will make it to 2024? Because I know
they're going to throw everything at him to try to, like, tie him up legally and make certain that he can't run. But I think that at this point in time, you can't stop the Trump train. Like I was covering on this, where you have all these people going to this thing where they have to go through Tucker Carlson to reach his audience. But it's like, why didn't Trump show up? It's because he had his own event with arguably a larger audience, arguably a more passionate audience. So it's he doesn't need Tucker Carlson. All these Republican politicians, they need Tucker Carlson, and it's the more it's that Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars thing. The more anything they do to him to strike him down, it's just going to make him more powerful. Every single time he gets indicted, if there is a Donald Trump mugshot, if they find some sort of thing that he's done in the past, it's just going to rile up his supporters, because at this point in time, like we saw with that Sound of Freedom movie, the more they do to try to say, don't like this candidate, don't watch this movie, the more it's Barbara Streisand affecting it, where it's like, I saw the Sound of Freedom just because they told me not to. I hate to be such a contrarian, but it's almost like, hey, you guys are a fan of things like Joe Biden, what's going on in Ukraine, and the insane movies on Netflix right now. If you're saying don't see this thing, I almost have to, because I'm like, wait, I've seen what makes you cheer, so let me go see what makes you boo.
My gracious, bro. You preaching, man. God gracious. You a minister too, Decoy Voice? Man, let me tell you something. You're on fire. Everything you just now said, bro, I'm riding with you. And I want to say, before you go, man, I want to say congratulations on all your success on your channel.
I appreciate it.
I think you're doing a remarkable job, bro, as far as the content out there. You're one of my number one go-to guys when I go for
appreciate
content. So thank you, man, for pulling up. I appreciate you, big dog. And if you're staying with us, or you about.
I'm gonna hop off right now. I got probably like an hour of editing that'll have a video that pops up. Unfortunately, I wish that you guys could watch it live and kind of react to it and talk about it. But I mean, I don't think I'll have it out soon enough. But yeah, I'll knock out this video. But if you guys are still on, I mean, no pressure to stay online for longer. But if you guys are still on, I'll try to hop back on. But I appreciate you having me over here. Appreciate your audience. I feel like we have a lot of overlap of just people that I wouldn't say are necessarily like, oh, they're these very passionate political people that watch C-SPAN and know everything that every bill that's come across their local state senator's desk. Like, I don't think that these are just people that are very passionate about politics. I think that these are people that are just passionate about affording milk and eggs, and I think that's what this is such a good opportunity for us just to be able to get, like, what is this, like a grassroots movement of just regular people coming together saying, hey, we're not political, but something's going on in the background right now that they don't necessarily want us to know about. And it's time for just regular, normal people like me, you, and Lou to sit down and say, let's start noticing things, because this is getting scary quickly.
Yeah, it's getting out of hand, bro. Thanks again for pulling up, my man. You have a blessed weekend, and I really appreciate you taking a moment of your time to bless my supporters, man. Hopefully y'all go check out Decoy Voice as well. He's amazing, man.
I appreciate it, man. I'll see you later on.
Peace, bro.
You can't achieve something. Identity's confining. You can be imprisoned in the identities that you inherit. And I just want to be careful that we learn from the left.
Hold on 1 second. I did not say this. I put their names up here. Let me see. If Cartier family is still here, I just want to say, man, much love to these young guys. Y'all are doing a remarkable job, amazing job over your channel, man. For real. We've been watching y'all. We talk about y'all a lot over here. Me and my son, JoJo, who really enjoy y'all channel as well, because he's also college educated young man. Serious about his life, his career, love God, love country, all this other stuff. So it's amazing to see y'all do what y'all do. So Cartier family, thank you so much for pulling up.
Or to learn, including what not to do, to be confined and imprisoned by our own identity of what it means to be Republican. Let's just let that word go and instead ask the question of what it actually means to be an American today. That's the question of our time. And you ask people my age that question, you get like a deer in the headlights response. It's like, it's a blank stare initially.
What does it mean to be American nowadays? A lot of people are running from that question. A lot of people, especially people on the left, they run away from that.
But on the other side of that is then an introspection to say, okay, there are certain ideals that we fought a revolution for in this country. Self-governance over aristocracy, sovereignty as a nation, free speech.
Also want to say thank you, everyone, for the super chats. Everyone who submitted us a super chat and participated in that, thank y'all so much. I try not to, to break the conversations that we were having while doing that, but I would just want to say thank you. Thank you.
Meritocracy, that you get ahead in this country, not on the color of your skin, but on the content of your character and contributions. That's what it means to be an American. That's what we're running to. And honest to God, Tucker, I think that if we do this right, if we actually prioritize our vision, what we stand for, I think it's going to be a landslide election for I'm not going to say Republican candidate, a pro-American candidate in this race.
It's just interesting because
pro-American candidate. That's what we need, baby. Not a Republican candidate, not a Democratic candidate, but a pro-American candidate. Someone who would put America's interests before everyone else's. Can we do that? Can we at least want to do that? Why don't we? Are we being paid not to? Makes no sense to me.
What you didn't mention, so I asked you, you've been traveling around the country. It sounds like you've really, you went to Kensington on the South Side. You've really kind of been to the span of the country. I watch media coverage, and everything's about race. And America is divided by race. That's America's original sin. It's the thing that cleaves us as a country. You didn't mention that. So why do they keep telling me that?
They blow what I call woke smoke to deflect accountability for their own failure, actually.
Wow.
So what do you think affirmative action has done for black people in this country? Nothing. What do you think? It's been negative. It's created racism that otherwise would not have existed. I've seen it. I have hired black executives at companies I have founded on merit. I could care less for the skin color. And then behind closed doors, people will say, well, that person got their job because of race, because they're jealous because they weren't good enough to get the job. But that is sad. It's unfair to everyone involved. They'll blow woke smoke. They'll say math is racist. When in fact, you know, what might be wrong is not teaching kids in the lockdowns how to do math.
Amen, bruh. Amen. Amen, man. Listen, the one thing that I see that we're not doing, we're not as dedicated when it comes to these certain topics because it's boring and I got other things to do. I want to turn up. I want to live life. I want to go do my own thing. But they don't want to study as hard, but they want to reap all of the benefits of the other people. So now when you're up against them to get into these schools, you're wondering why they score a certain level and you're not. And you need extra help now. And then once you get that extra help to get into these universities, then unfortunately you find out later, probably within the first 2 years, that you are not up for it. You're failing your classes now. Whereas where you were, you was a superstar. You was like valedictorian and summa cum laude and all this other stuff. So it's crazy, man. They just need to listen to some people how this negatively affects certain people.
And then they're using this to cover up for that failure. I personally think that's actually what's going on in the U.S. military too. Right? People wonder about where's this wokeness in the military coming from. I mean, our military has been disastrous in defining its purpose, how we're actually using the resources of a military to fight wars that we haven't actually shown great value from in the last 25 years. So let's just talk about systemic racism and white rage instead. It's a deflection mechanism. Companies do it, the military does it, schools do it, teachers' unions do it. It's irrelevant, and in fact, what would they ever do without those poor black kids who they could hold out as the sacrificial lambs for their own failures? Woo! What we actually need to do is to...
What? That's you, bruh.
Oh, he went there.
Wow, you putting your own kids out there as sacrificial.
Yo.
Wow. For black failure. Come on, bruh.
Level up and say, no. Regardless of the color of your skin, how are we going to be a country that ensures opportunity, black, white, man, woman, doesn't matter? You know, my parents came to this country with almost no money. I've gone on to found multi-billion-dollar companies. And then people tell me, oh, that's because you had privilege. They tell me white privilege. It's sort of weird. It's sort of an interesting, it's kind of interesting.
Do you tell them?
Does Vivek Ramaswamy have white privilege?
Yeah, bro, it's so crazy. That analogy is really, it exists. I've seen a lot of white liberals come out and pretty much any black person that doesn't agree with a white liberal, they'll automatically say that they're white.
Wow.
Like the person could be dark-skinned person, right? It could look like me. It could be whatever.
You're white.
You're white. You're white. You're not black. You're white.
You're white
because you don't agree with me and what I believe about this country and all these different things. So yeah, imagine saying that this dude right here, who is an Indian, who is not like, he's not white, bro. Like, look at him. Like,
not white at all. Not.
You're saying that he has white privilege, bro? Come on.
But here's my other thing, Lou. And honestly, I think is crazy. You can't have it both ways. Either he and his family benefited from affirmative action because of them being immigrants and them being of darker hue, or they have white privilege. Which one is it? You're going to say that he's successful because of his white privilege, but you only got the opportunity to be successful because of affirmative action. You can't have it both ways, man.
Yeah, they try to always have it both ways. That's true. That's a great point, actually.
But that's what they want, though. They just want to.
They're defeating their own argument by doing that and saying that.
Exactly. Oh, they just ignorant as hell, bro. They not leading they're not leading with their vernacular. They're going by their hearts, man. I feel like, come on, bro. Relax.
As I take the blindfold off, and now you have your answer. But the interesting answer is, actually what I do tell him, Tucker, is that I did have privilege. I didn't grow up in money, but I had two parents in the house. a mother and a father with a focus on education and a
Amen.
faith in God. And you know what?
Amen.
That is the ultimate privilege.
Amen.
That if I'm going to
Amen.
enjoy that, every kid in this country ought to enjoy it too.
Bruh, let me
That's
say
a mic
y'all,
drop.
that's a mic drop right there. Okay, only reason why, listen, listen, you are privileged if you do things the right way. You will be privileged if you do things the right way. His parents say, you know what? We are going to raise our child together. How about that? We're going to make sure that he takes education first. How about that? We're going to lead with example by going out every day and handling our business so that he can see us actually do it. How about that? I'm going to show him what a father is. You show him what a mother is. He'll want to do the same thing over and over and over. How about that? That is that simple.
I think, some people, they just want to take offense to it. You know what I'm saying? They want to take offense to a family, you know what I'm saying, that is structured around doing schoolwork. I mean, look at Africans that come over from Africa, right? Like Nigerians and different people that are coming from Africa. They literally like make their child, you know what I'm saying, either become a doctor or study or go hard in school. Like I grew up around African people in my neighborhood, and I remember this African family. They did not play around. They did not do the whole street thing. It was not, you know what I'm saying? Like it was just in and out, going to school. You're going to be successful. You have to take advantage of the United States of America. You have to take advantage of these opportunities. Unlike a lot of us knuckleheads, we was just in the hallway, right? Smoking weed, listening to music, you know what I'm
Whatever
saying?
we want to do.
The girls, and our priorities is wrong. But that's because
Absolutely.
I grew up in a single parent home, and a lot of us did. And you know what I'm saying? My father did 15 years in the feds. He wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like that creates broken.
Damn.
That creates brokenness, bro. That
Yeah,
creates,
it does.
and once again, like he said earlier, if you have a big hole, right, that's supposed to be for God. Imagine if the streets, drugs, all these different things fill that. You're eventually going to start making bad decisions.
Absolutely.
You're eventually going to fall into a culture of degeneracy. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Like you're going to fall
Absolutely.
into whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And it just doesn't happen to black people. This has happened to white people too.
Oh, it happens to
Like,
everybody.
it happens to everybody. So
Yeah.
yes, I do believe that it is a big privilege to grow up with a family that prioritizes education and opportunity and taking advantage of it. So he's 1000% right, bro.
Absolutely, man. I agree 1000%, bro. Thank you
gotta
for breaking
keep it
it down.
real though. People hate. Like if you say that, oh, look at you, you're a white supremacist for saying that. Like,
Yeah, because you made it
Cut it
out.
out.
You think everybody else, since you made it out, since you ain't gotta do this, automatically assuming that since you're at a place of peace and understanding that you have not gone through anything. We assume sugar honey iced tea about people and just be way off. And the next thing you know, rather than wanting to understand them and wanting them to understand us, we just go straight to the assuming the worst and wanting to fight, wanting to whoop somebody.
Look,
And that's it.
I say this, bro. We are the American dream. We are living the American dream,
Facts.
right? And we are people like you grew up tough. Like it wasn't easy, right? Like it wasn't. We didn't have easy. Like I just said, like what happened with my dad, my mom coming over to Puerto Rico, living under welfare my whole life. You understand what I'm saying? Like trying to get my mom out of welfare as we speak right now. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get independence, and that's the American dream. It's the fact that you have an actual opportunity to make money and do something like this for a living. You can't do that anywhere else. Are you kidding me? So it's like we are living proof that if in America you don't play the victim and you don't, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't do all that extra stuff that's just soft, and you toughen up and you actually go and do the work, that you can actually make a difference. And I think a guy like Vivek is literally simply saying that it doesn't matter what your feelings are. The facts are that I made it. I did, I did medicine. I contributed to whatever.
Yeah.
And not only that, the man is worth over $500 million.
Yeah.
Anything is possible in the United States of America. Don't let nobody tell you that it's not.
Yes.
Like, these celebrities literally, they be rich, wealthy, getting on a mic. Yo, the biggest problem in America is like, no, I made it, but you can't make it. You're not that good. You know what I'm saying? So shit like that is like, bro, what are we talking about right now? Me and you are literally living proof that you can literally like make a living doing something that you love in the United States of America. It's not like that in every country, unfortunately. That not the country that I'm from, not DR, right? Like, so yeah, I don't listen to people no more when they just, flat out tell me that, you're just the exception, not the rule or whatever. So
Well,
that's what
and they only do that because I don't know why they do it. I want to say why I have many reasons why I believe they do it.
Because the underdog stuff, like people love the story of the underdog. People love the thriving of like everyone's against me, so I'm gonna make it, and like you can't make it, but I'm gonna make that type of stuff really drives people. That's a whole culture within itself.
Yeah,
that whole underdog stuff. Like, nah, bro, not everybody's against you, my guy. No, actually, nobody cares about you. How about that?
Nobody cares. Nobody thinking about your ass. Nobody thinking about
Nobody cares.
Nobody thinking about you. You're not that important. I mean, some people don't want to hear that, but you're just not that important.
Do you think, I just have to ask you this, do you, because you're not a political professional, do you think Biden's going to be the nominee?
So it depends on who the Republican nominee is. I'm running because at this point, actually, my heart says, I couldn't have told you this in February. I launched on your show, and honest to God, when I left, I had no idea how this thing was going to go. My gut instinct is that I will be the nominee and in a position to win this in a landslide versus Biden. And they will not let Biden run against me.
Woo! Trump supporters, y'all heard that? He wants smoke. He said that he's going to win it when he's elected as the Republican nominee. He's going to win in a landslide against. He's not even considering anybody else in the conservative lane right now. He's already saying, "Yo, this is going to be me." Unless I'm hearing it wrong.
MAGA.
Listen, man.
Our nation is in decline. Vivek Ramaswamy.
The first Indian American.
I'm not voting for him because he's an Indian, but I gotta tell you.
It's about to
he's not an American. Check his papers.
We gotta see. Listen. It's about to get nasty, bro. It's about to get nasty, for real.
So I believe that if I am the nominee, they will not let Biden run. It is why they're holding in the back pocket the documents case against Biden. It is why they're holding in the back pocket everything else that you're wondering why they're not charging or bringing now. It's not a Democrat or Republican thing. It's a managerial class, deep state bureaucratic class versus elected official puppets thing. And so they're not going to have to use that if it's Trump, because they think based on, they don't analyze, they analogize. They say we did it. We can debate that, but we appear to have done it. We appear to have done it, and so we'll do it again. So if it's Trump, they're going to run Biden. If it's me, there's no way they let Biden run. It's going to be a new puppet, Gavin Newsom, Michelle Obama, you name it.
Oh, y'all hear that? He said it's going to be a new puppet, not a new nominee, a new puppet, somebody else that they can control, somebody else that they can lead and guide and do whatever the hell they want to do. God dang, this dude want all the smoke with anybody. I want to see him debate anybody, whoever they bring to the table. I think he'll bully him. I think he'll bully him unless Tucker was just softball. Did Tucker softball him this entire interview, bro? Did he give him anything that will really test him?
I think the J6 stuff.
He could have taken the opportunity not to answer it, but
yeah, he could have, you know what I'm saying, could have given a bad answer and then, but he mostly good solid answers. But I will say this though. Democrats believe they want Trump to be the nominee. At this point, I believe, because they really believe that they're going to beat him in a landslide. So he is right about that, because there's a lot of people online, especially on Twitter, that are like salivating at the mouth. Like they're like, they want Trump to be the guy because they believe that Biden will win in a landslide. They really do believe that.
How? What, they gonna pull up the same 81 million people that that voted for him the first time?
It doesn't matter to me though, because for me, whoever it is, I'm not running against anybody in this primary field. And I'm going to keep that philosophy in the general. I'm not running against whichever puppet they put up, Biden or somebody else. I'm running for our vision of what it means to be a citizen of this nation, the United States of America. I'm leading us to something, and nobody else is going to get in the way.
Thank you. Vivek, good to see you.
Good to see you, Tucker.
All right. So
That was really good. That was solid, man. This guy, he's trending right now all over Twitter, by the way. So people are, he's popping up in people's eyes, and people are actually getting a chance to see him. And we'll see, man. We'll see what happens. I'm not that confident that he's, obviously not going to beat Trump, but I would say that, he's setting himself up for the future. And I think that in 2028, he's still going to be very young. And I think that he's setting himself up right now to walk away with it in 2028. But like you said, man, will they vote for an Indian?
I think real people who want America to do well is not even going to consider that. I don't even think they're going to consider it.
I think I read in the comments, and I think I heard about this. He's not a Christian.
He's not?
Nah, I don't think he's a Christian. I think he's into the Hinduism stuff.
Hindu?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's also a big problem too. I can't lie.
Yeah, that's going to create
that is
an
definitely
issue.
a big problem.
That's going to create an issue.
Yeah.
That's going to create an issue, man. Because anybody, okay, I'll put to you like this. Whoever's at the head of the household, whatever religion that they are part of or whatever spiritually guide them, they're going to pass that on to their family. Well, if he's going to be the president, he's going to pass certain ways of his own beliefs to the family. It's not only going to just be business. So you got to look at the totality of it all, in my opinion. I just look at the whole person when it comes to that. I think he will be a phenomenal leader, but I do think that people are going to consider Hinduism and Christianity. I think that's going to be an issue in their minds, in my opinion. Not saying it's fair.
But it seems like majority of people in here don't care about that, which is good to see. But you could say that now, but when it comes time to I think Trisha said it last night in one of the calls, is when you step in that box by yourself and you're ready to click and you're ready to vote in the primaries, trust me, a lot of things will start to pop up. Okay, who's the guy? Who's the guy? Clean, you know what I'm saying? So before you make the decision, a lot of people are always going to think, and I think stuff like that does play a factor. And guess what? I don't judge anybody for if that's how you vote, that's how you vote.
Yeah. If that's how you vote, that's how you vote. Lou, brother, I want to say thank you so much for joining the live with me today, man. I really appreciate it. I know how busy you are. And we all see the success on your channel, my man. God damn, this dude is killing it on his channel. Woo. It's amazing to see, brother. But thank you so much for joining the channel today, man. Any last words from Lou Valentino? I'm about to go and get up out of here as well.
Listen, man, I'm glad that you did. I would love to you know what I'm saying, see this is something that I wanted to do with you for a while, which is be on live together and do a live show. So hey guys, if you want to see us do a live show,
man,
once every 2 weeks or something like that, let us know. We'll set it up. If anything big is happening, I'll call them up and then we'll make it happen. So I think that, and also you guys are free to come up on stage. That's even better. He's actually sending the link. So I think that this is dope. I think that bro, if we do it, whether it's once a month, twice a month or whatever, come through, guys. Come through. Don't be afraid to hit that link and come through, man. Because I feel like all of us having a conversation is even better.
Absolutely.
So
we all got a voice.
Thank you for having me, man. And let's do it again soon. And I appreciate everything you've done. Because without you, bro, it would not be a Lou Valentino. I promise you. The success that's coming in and all that stuff, without Van setting the blueprint, it wouldn't be me. I promise you. So thank you, bro. I truly appreciate everything you've done, and the future is really bright, man. I think that we're heading in the right direction. So, and also when I've gotten my strikes and all that stuff, going through it, not sure if my YouTube channel is gonna still stand. you know, this guy was definitely there for me, texting me and making sure that I was holding it down and keeping me cool. So he actually cares, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think that a lot of people do. I think a
Wow,
lot of people, I think a lot of people would look at it more like an opportunity. He looked at it more like, yo, you good? Don't dwell. Just go, keep going. So thank you, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Well, just so you know, in the future, and love you like a little brother, man, because he's actually younger than my my oldest child, which is wild.
I look old.
Nah, man, you doing your thing, big dog. But I don't need any flowers at all. And you know what I mean? You're the same type of way when people do things for you, because you actually taught me a lot when it comes to this stuff too. But we'll rap about that. I talk to my son about you all the time, brother, because you're a cool dude. And it's good to have other people for my son to look up to and be like, man, all right, okay, I like that. You know what I mean? It's good to see. But thanks again, brother. I appreciate you, man. Thank everyone for the super chat. Thank y'all for joining. Y'all have an amazing day. And yeah, we are out.
See you guys next time, man. God bless, guys.